Once upon a time, in a small village by the sea, there lived a fisherman named Marcus. He was a simple man with few possessions, but his heart was full of hope. Every morning, before the sun rose, he would set out in his small boat, casting his net into the deep blue waters. Some days the sea was generous, filling his net with fish. Other days the waves were empty, and he returned with nothing. Marcus had a neighbor, a wealthy merchant named Lucius, who often mocked him. "Why do you waste your time with such uncertainty?" Lucius would say. "If you worked for me, you would have a steady income. No more empty nets, no more hunger." But Marcus always smiled and replied, "The sea gives what it gives. I cannot force it to be generous, but I can learn to accept its ways." One year, a terrible storm destroyed many boats in the village, including Lucius's great trading ship. The merchant was ruined, his fortune lost. He sat on the shore, weeping, unable to accept his misfortune. Marcus, though his own boat was damaged, remained calm. He knelt beside Lucius and said, "The storm took what it took. We cannot change that, but we can choose how we face what remains." Lucius looked at him in confusion. "How can you be so peaceful when you have lost so much?" Marcus sighed. "I have learned from the Stoics, those ancient thinkers who taught that suffering comes not from events but from our expectations. I never expected the sea to always fill my net, so when it does not, I am not surprised. And when it does, I am grateful. You expected your wealth to last forever, and so its loss crushes you. But nothing in life is certain, not the sea." Lucius wiped his tears. "Then how does one live without expectation?" Marcus shook his head. "It is not about having no expectations. It is about holding them lightly. Prepare for the worst, hope for the best, and accept whatever comes. The Stoics called this the art of acquiescence. When you stop fighting reality, you find peace." Over time, Lucius began to understand. He rebuilt his life slowly, no longer clinging to certainty. He learned to appreciate small joys, the taste of bread, the warmth of the sun, the laughter of friends. And though he never became as wealthy as before, he found something richer. A mind at ease, free from the tyranny of unmet expectation. One evening, as they sat by the fire, Lucius turned to Marcus and said, "I once thought you were a fool for accepting life's unpredictability. Now I see you were the wise one, all along." Marcus smiled. "Wisdom is not in controlling the world, but in mastering our reactions to it. The waves will rise and fall, storms will come and go. But if we anchor ourselves in reason, not in desire, we will never be shipwrecked by disappointment." And so the two men lived, not in perfect happiness, but in quiet resilience. They faced each day as it came, neither demanding more nor despairing at less. For they had learned the greatest lesson of all, that the key to peace is not in changing the world, but in changing the way we see it. The Stoics taught that expectations are like invisible chains. They bind us to outcomes we cannot control. When we expect praise, we feel hurt when it does not come. When we expect success, failure feels unbearable. But if we loosen our grip, if we accept that life owes us nothing, then we become free. Imagine a man who plants a tree. He waters it, cares for it, but does not demand that it grow. If it thrives, he is pleased. If it withers, he is not devastated, for he knew this was always possible. His peace does not depend on the tree, but on his own mind. This is the Stoic way. To hope, but not to demand. To act, but not to cling. To live fully, yet lightly, like a leaf on the wind, not fighting the current, but moving with it. And so, dear listener, ask yourself, what expectations weigh on your heart? What invisible demands do you place upon the world? And what freedom might you find if you released them? For in the end, the only thing we truly control is our own perspective. And that is enough.